She migrated to the United States, eventually got married, but always had this terrible anger about what happened to her and her kid sister. Later on, the kid sister was also suffering and was dying, but she managed to donate her kidney to her sister so she could keep going for a bit longer, but eventually her kid sister died. And that was just traumatic. The only other family she had, her sister, had gone. And then the anger she felt was just so great. But then she realized that it was torturing her. So she managed to contact one of the doctors. I'm not sure if this doctor had been through a prison or whatever. One of the doctors who was in Auschwitz, whose job was to, after the gas chambers had done their work, to go inside the gas chamber and to count how many bodies died, so they could have the death certificates. They didn't actually give them names, just numbers. And she managed to contact him and asked if she could meet him. He was 82 at the time. And so he said yes. She was terrified that she was going to meet one of the Nazis at the time who'd given her and her sister such a hard time. But nevertheless, the first thing she noticed was how polite and how welcoming and how gentle this doctor was. And they talked, and she invited him to come in a couple of weeks' time into Auschwitz together. And then after going into Auschwitz where all this happened, then she realized something, that all this time she had so much anger and fear as well, that it was ruining her life. So she decided to do something radical about this. She wrote him a letter saying, "I forgive you." And she meant it. She said when she posted that letter, "I forgive you," she realized that forgiveness is something which no one can let you do, they can't force you to do it, and they can't stop you from doing it. It is your personal choice. And she said, why don't I make that choice? As soon as she did that choice to forgive, it was just like all of that burden of anger, all that burden of anger and problems with her life, feeling that had ruined her whole life and the life of her sister and her family, all of that grief just vanished almost instantaneously. And she found out that forgiveness was how to stop that anger, which was so deep inside of her. Before, she would always identify as a victim. Now, she was a victor, not over the people who had harmed her, but over anger itself.